Are you ready for a trip to Seoul? I'm going to show you a list of things you should see and do when visiting the capital city of Korea. Now let's go. Koreans love their coffee. Everywhere you go in Seoul, there are hipster coffee shops. You'll find great coffee everywhere. It looks delicious. We are inside the Namsan Park, and right up there is the iconic Seoul Tower. You can go further up to the observation deck up there, but out this way there's an observation deck you don't have to pay extra for if you just paid for the cable car ride up here to the top, or you can hike up here to the top with stunning, breathtaking panoramic views of Seoul, the capital city of Korea. I opted for the one-way cable car ticket, 11,000 won, and I'm gonna hike down. At the War Memorial of Korea. The War Museum gave a great understanding of what happened during the Korean War, and best of all, it's free to enter and free to expand your knowledge of what was a big, massive event for Asia and for the entire world. Now, I didn't think it was as informative as some of the other museums I've been to on different wars in Vietnam. I thought in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, those museums were much more interactive and enabled you to learn a lot quicker the story and the history. However, it's free and it's a beautiful place, a beautiful surroundings. You see all the tanks, all the planes, the missiles inside. You get to read the stories. So put it on your list if you have extra time for it. If you think Seoul is all urban warfare, think again. This is Seoul's Forest Park. There are plenty of parks around the city, and this one here is one of the biggest. Tree-lined park, bike paths, running paths, deer to feed, rose garden, lakes. It has everything you need to get a breath of fresh air in the middle of a big metropolitan city. In addition to all the other things you're going to be doing, your busy schedule, I would pin in, circle on your calendar a day, a half day here in this park. Bring a picnic, bring some drinks, and just chill out for a while. Massive, big, massive, big. I mean, you can walk for hours and hours and you stay only in a small little neighborhood. You can get on the metro, the underground, super clean, super cheap, super easy to use with a little bit of patience, but you're gonna spend hours down there underground getting from one side of the city to the next. Taxi ride, they're cheap, don't worry, you can jump in a taxi, but prepare to spend a little bit of time to navigate your way around this major city.
If you follow the maps and the directions, Google Maps will work for this. You can easily get to where you're going, and it's cheap. You don't have to pay every time, although if you're only gonna take the metro for a couple of uses, pay each time you use, go to the ticket counter, buy a ticket. Another option, which is what I did, you get this T-Money card, you pay a little bit of deposit, you charge it up at a convenience store, and don't worry if you overcharge, put too much money in, at the end of your trip, you get the money back with the small fee that you'd paid on the card coming out of it. I strongly suggest taking the metro. It's clean, it's quiet, and it's efficient.
Okay, one of the things you need to put on your list is get down to the Hongdae walking street. It's a food street, but you won't find that much food. You're gonna find a lot of entertainment and maybe the next K-pop stars at night, and also sometimes in the early afternoon. They set up these street performers. You can watch them, get entertained for free, 4 hours, and then roam all these little bars, get your photos taken, go in and out of the shops, and just have a ball. Seoul's such a unique city. It reminds me a little bit of Tokyo, the kind of quirkiness, the vibe, how they get so freaked out for little cute toys, animals, pop music. But hey, when in Seoul, embrace it. The Gyeongbokgung Palace should be a priority on your list in Seoul. It's the largest one open to the public, and it's free. This is the main royal palace and regarded as the most beautiful. Now I should specify it's free to get in for those wearing the traditional costumes, and you see the women and men dressed in those costumes. I don't have a costume on today. I paid $3,000 for my ticket. There are free guided tours at certain hours. We're just gonna roam around today and kind of get lost in here and check out the architecture and the history of this place as well. Off in the distance above the palace you have the mountains. Everybody's getting their photos as well. And over there you can hear the drum beats, and they're doing the changing of the guards, and that timed perfectly for my entry because they do it at 10 o'clock in the morning and they do it at other hours throughout the day. So check on the website before you visit if you want to see the changing of the guard. The Joseon Kingdom, that was the last one in Korea. Throughout their reign, as Seoul became a capital city, they built a number of palaces. There are currently 5 that are open to the public. This may seem like a Disney theme park, but it's the real thing. These palace structures, the buildings, they're well maintained. It's breathtaking. I appreciate the people dressed up in the traditional dresses. I'm able to get a whole bunch of photos and videos of them strolling the palace areas. And what's kind of cool too is it's relatively quiet in here, not overcrowded. Now keep in mind and plan accordingly. I had a chance to go yesterday, which was a Sunday, but I thought to myself, no, let's wait for a weekday because then I know there will be less people and you'll have more freedom to roam and you'll get those great photos. It just keeps getting better. Look at the pagoda, the pond, the bridge over the pond, everybody lining up to get their shots here. This is impressive. Put it on your list. We are steps away from the palace in the Bukchon Hanok village. Hanok means little houses, and these are these traditional old Korean homes built back in the Joseon dynasty, and they're still in use today. People still live in here. When you're visiting these streets, be quiet and respectful because people, they call this place home. And you can see the architecture details in here. It's like walking through the palace itself, but here you're in a residential neighborhood. Keep in mind it's a little bit of walking. I'm kind of under the weather today, so it's a bit of heavy breathing. And right over here is one of the famous viewpoints I want to take you to. I bet you know why this street, this little path lane is famous, because in between these ancient Hanoks off there you see the Seoul Tower. If you frame it just right, you get the Seoul Tower right between the rows of houses. It is quite a beauty. Now in here you can come in the early morning, you can even run and jog through these streets. Look at this. This is one of the side streets that doesn't have the view of the Seoul Tower, but no one's on this one, and you can get some great shots in here. Keep a low voice. Also, you see there are plenty of little B&B options if you can book online and stay in this little village. Devote one of your days in Seoul, one of the full days in Seoul, half of the day in the morning at the palace and then half of the day here. Vice versa, you could do the morning here and the afternoon at the palace. Both of these places merit the time. Now, if you're here in the village, what I strongly suggest you do is go to the famous street, get your photos, get your videos, and then wander some of the other smaller streets because they're just as amazing, but they don't have the iconic Seoul Tower between the rows of houses. But still, you'll get your shots in some of those streets, and be quiet, be respectful. I heard a lot of loud tourists back there, and you have to remember it's a residential area, so people are living in there. Oh, nice to see you. Let's go get some water. Seoul is full of the fun and the unusual, and this next place, I think you're going to enjoy.
Yes, this is a poo-poo toilet themed cafe. I thought I was gonna get my cappuccino in a toilet, but that's only on some of the specialty drinks. Maybe it's better I didn't get it that way. Now it's a bit kitsch, I'll give it that, but Seoul, Korea, it's all that way. There are several of these little bars, restaurants you can find all around town. So when you see something like this, pop in and just experience the unexpected.
If you're enjoying this whirlwind tour of Seoul, of everything you should see and do when you're in the capital city of Korea, well, hit that like button down below. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed, and I see many of you aren't yet subscribed, click the subscribe button, join the community.
I'm here in the demilitarized zone of the Korean peninsula that divides North and South Korea. This is one of the villages that are in the demilitarized zone. Plan one of your days during your trip to Seoul to do a day trip up here. It doesn't cost that much money. You can do trips of varying length. I have a half-day trip, but with that trip you get a great understanding of the Korean history and an understanding of why North Korea is there and why South Korea is here and how it all got split up along the 38th parallel. With the trip I had today, I got within 150 meters of North Korea, going down deep and under in the third tunnel. We went up to the observatory where we could see the North Koreans going about their day, looking off into the distance, just kind of wondering what's going on inside there in their hermit kingdom that Kim Jong-un is keeping locked up. On your trip to Seoul, it wouldn't be complete without a trip to the DMZ. If you have a 3-day trip, make one of those days a trip up here. This is something definitely Seoul. Go to one of the many animal-themed cafes that you find around town. Here we go.
It's fox time.
Okay, this is a unique experience, definitely. You get up close and personal with these animals. Wallaby hanging out right there, more meerkats back this way. Okay, that was a fun, pure, wholesome experience. And the animals here, well, they're treated very well. So if you want to look up this place, it's called the Meerkat Cafe. I recommend it, and the girls in there working are super sweet with the animals, and the foxes too. Those were the highlight. Maybe the wallabies.